Welcome back. We are so excited, or at least I think we're so excited. We're finally going to start doing the espalier trees on the back panels of our fence here. We're going to do 3 different ones like Rebecca had already talked about, one in between each of the sections. We bought our first little tree just because it was on sale at Lowe's, and we figured we can espalier this one. We'll show you that at the end of the project. What we need to do first is all of the structure work so that all of the espalier goes correctly laterally this way. So we're going to show you how we're going to do that. Stay with us. Okay, here's where we get started. We have to get a few things from the hardware store. Went over to Lowe's and picked this stuff up. We got 14 gauge wire. We've seen people say online 16 gauge or maybe even a little higher, but we went with the 14 gauge wire. We also got some 8-inch long lag eye bolts. We're going to put those in and we'll show you how we'll do that. Then you also need to get some turnbuckles. And this is kind of that key thing in between. What you'll do is you'll actually loosen the turnbuckles as far as you can before you put them on. So we'll show you how that all goes. Here's where we get started. All right, we have something a little tricky going on back here. If we had a fence that just went straight across, we could go ahead and just put the different eye bolts, the eye lags into the posts where we wanted them. But since it goes up, we wanted to kind of be a little trickier. Maybe I'm just being silly and we're going to buy a little something extra to take care of that. Anyway, we are going to start at the low point over on this end, and we are going to go ahead and mark where we're going to put those first lags in the post. All right, we're going to go ahead and do the first lag at 24 inches, 2 feet. And then the next lag will come up and we'll do it at 48 inches. And then the last one, we're going to go all the way up to 6 feet or 72 inches. So now we're ready to go ahead and grab the drill. One thing I've learned in my life, and apparently I have to keep learning this lesson over and over again, is if you don't want the wood to split, you're going to have to drill some sort of pilot hole to go in. We also know that we want to have these go in exactly 2 inches wherever they're going to be. So we're going to mark up our lag bolts with a 2-inch line so that we know as we're putting them in. So we'll go ahead and go take care of that now. Since I know that I need to go in 2 inches on each of these, I want my pilot hole to be just a little shorter than that. So I think I want it to go about an inch and 3/4. So I'm going to measure out on my drill bit from the tip, an inch and 3/4. I'm going to give myself a little mark so I know where I am. And then I'm going to get my piece of tape and put it right around there so I know how far to go in. Just double check myself. Yep, right there, about that inch and 3/4. So I'm going to go ahead and put the first one in here. I'm going to eyeball it kind of side to side. Doesn't have to exactly be perfect. Start out a little slow. All right, we're ready to put the first ones in. We'll go ahead and grab those now. Once I started the lag screw into the post, I grabbed a screwdriver for leverage. I twisted it down until I got to the 2-inch mark we made earlier. Next, I attached the end of the wire to the eye and twisted it down, then clamped it at the end with a pair of pliers. To figure out where the lag screw should be on the next post, we attached a line level to the wire and pulled it tight. Then made a pencil mark for the pilot hole. So it's funny how you learn stuff as you go along, and hopefully our mistakes you don't have to make if you're doing something similar. My original plan was to go through 2 bolts so that we could adjust every time we went across for the change in the slant. Well, I thought we would be able to put the first bolt in and attach that, and then I could just put the lag bolts onto the wire so I could turn those on as I went. Then it dawned on me, you can't actually turn the bolt with it wrapped around the wire. So we're going to start and just kind of do one at a time. And then I realized, what if we just went and got some string, and then we could just do each one individually with the string and not have to worry about cutting it. So that's what we're doing now. We're only going to level out the top ones because then we figure we can just measure off of those, and the ones on the bottom will be level as well. So that's why we're doing it with the string. So as we do this next level, I'm going to go ahead. We're just going to tie the string on here. And I will pull our new trusty line level out of my pocket, hand the ball of string to my lovely assistant, attach the line level. We're going to pull this nice and tight across. And then using the line level, I'll get it right where it should be. We're just about right there. And then simply double check myself because I don't trust me. And then make my mark. And there we go. There's the last level spot. Well, this is another one of those places where I think I might have outsmarted myself because you can see where the wire comes up and over and then through. I'm always going to get a little bit of bind when I'm trying to tighten them. I'm going to go ahead and try to alleviate that some by putting the turnbuckle here in the middle rather than down there at the end. We'll see how that goes, but if it doesn't work out after a year or two and I can't tighten them as well as I thought, then we'll just have to get another turnbuckle on the other side. Like I said, I undid the turnbuckle as far as it would go and then just a little bit back in so I could go ahead and get it at least a little tight to begin with. And I'm going to go ahead and be a little tricky here. Try not to outsmart myself again. And just twist this part to get it tight. We need any. We got to start at the other end for this last one. So I'm going to pull it as tight as I can by hand first, and then start looping it around. This one I'm probably going to have to cut a little because just a little too much wire there, but I guess I'd rather have a little too much than not enough. All right, that's probably enough. And I'm going to go ahead and cut it right there. I'm going to pinch it down good. And then we're going to tighten it up just a little bit. There we go. Got the first one. Now we're ready for the other two. I think it'll be a lot easier doing the others. So we'll loop back around when we've got those in and show you how it ended up. Okay, there you have it. We've done it all. We've got all three lines in place. We've got the turnbuckles in place. And for the turnbuckles, of course, the wire is going to stretch as it gets weighted down with fruit and the trees themselves. So you just come in every year and we just do a little twist and we get turnbuckle just a little tighter. And what I did is, like I mentioned, we put two of them in, we put them all in the middle. I put two on this side, give me a little twist, and then one back on this side. And there you have it. Good to go. Thanks for watching. See ya.